Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Ying Shan, and this is Fabian, and we are both from Taylor's University. Fabian is studying in School of Architecture, and I'm in School of Education, which might seem weird in this forum, but you will see why later. The project that we are presenting today is called Livable and Affordable Homes. So, in this presentation, we will be talking about what's going on, which is the current picture, and then we'll talk about what we have done, and then we'll move on to talking about what's next, what's our future plans. So, currently, what is going on? Right. So, in 100 years, this is what we aspire the Malaysian society to look like. We want to see low crime levels. We want to see higher literacy, which can be done by breaking the cycle of poverty so that people can move up the socio-economic ladder, so that eventually everybody, the Malaysian society, will be ready for the fourth industrial revolution. And we can see that the common denominator to achieving all of this is education. So, we're moving on into talking about education as investment in human capital. And if you're going to talk about the Malaysian society in 100 years' time, we're going to be more futuristic, we're going to be more advanced, and there's going to be technology that we cannot imagine even in the current moment, right? But in order for Malaysian society to adapt to these changes and face these challenges that are going to be posed with in the future, we have to talk about the people who are living in the now, and that is education, investing in human capital, so that we are preparing the children of today to be ready for what's coming up in the future. Now, we're echoing the speech of the Deputy Prime Minister yesterday. She said that in order for Malaysia to move forward, we have to address issues like poverty in the P4P. We have to talk about affordable housing and social issues that are currently existing. And she says that if we're going to move forward, we cannot leave anybody behind. And this is also the 2030 agenda of the United Nations. So we see here the Sustainable Development Goals. We have no poverty. Number 4, we have quality education. And then number 9, which is also innovation and infrastructure. But all of these go hand in hand. We cannot do one and then leave the rest behind. So what we're doing is we're looking at the B40, which is the bottom 40 people who are living in poverty in Malaysia. We'll move on to see what the Khazanah Research Institute has said. According to their research, only 95% of Indians, not only, but that's quite a lot, 95% of Indians born to parents without formal education only study up to SPM or less, which means that only 5% go on to tertiary education. So what do you think happens to the other 95%? They go on and they work in their family businesses. And so, policies ensuring that children stay in school are important. And there are many, many initiatives to do this. There's already NGOs going into schools. There's already initiatives to fund education for these children of poverty. But what we're looking at is actually by creating an in-house learning space. So the in-house learning space is we are creating a designated space for children to do their homework and to study after they come back from school, because this is the place that they spend most of their time aside from school. We want these children to feel like they are happy and comfortable in the house as a place that they will study and somewhere that they can feel proud to stay in. So our project aims to create a space that is actually designated for them to study. I'll pass the time to Fabian as he explains more about what we've done.
Thank you, Yingshan. My name is Fabian, and I'll be continuing from here. So as Yingshan was mentioning before about B40, an example of that can be seen right now actually. Where we are in KLCC. Right beside KLCC is Kampung Baru. This is a very clear cut between the developed and the underdeveloped areas, and this can also be seen as the societies of now. What we are trying to do is we're trying to provide the children of the B40 areas with a new sense of education, a new motivation, or spark an interest in studying to possibly break them out of the cycle. So one of the examples that we can implement is an intentional learning space in these areas so that they have a good environment, a good space to learn where compared to what they already have now. The methodology that Taylor's University took is quite simple. It's very similar to any other project. We just drew up proposals, identified the spaces, we implemented proposals, but most importantly, we had to go interact with the families, find out what they need, find out how the living conditions were, the children. The site that we took for our study was Taman Sri Berembak. This area is in Port Klang, and it's mostly centered around the Indian communities with a very minor percentage of Malays living in the area. We actually took 10 units from the 3 buildings and we implemented and made prototypes to be used. This is an example of the unit that we worked on. It's a very simple unit, 5 spaces, but most of the spaces for this unit weren't used as I said. So for a bedroom, they didn't use it as a bedroom. Study spaces, they didn't use it as study space. And I'll explain why later. This is the family which my group worked with. It consists of 5 people in the family. The dad, who works as a lorry driver, goes state to state. So their source of income is already very low. The family struggles to pay the bills. The mom is a stay-at-home mom because she has to take care of the kids. The 3 children are in primary school. The eldest daughter just finished PPR. So they are still in the learning age where once they've completed the primary, they still go to secondary. It's a very long, they still have a long way to go in their education. For the first, I'll be running through a few problems which they are facing, general problems, with all the units. The first problem is the non-conducive study spaces. So in this area, you can see it's actually a store. You also use the room as a storeroom. They use the cabinets, they just throw everything they have in. The second problem is the lack of storage spaces. As you can see in the first photo, they actually put things in the ceiling area, they create makeshift spaces, they use plastic bags, they put everything around. Inside those cabinets, in the bottom left picture, are pots and pans mixed with clothes. They just put everything they have into any space which they have. The third problem is one of the biggest problems in the area because this actually makes the livability of the entire apartments and flats very low. It is barely ventilated spaces. And as I mentioned before, they don't use the spaces as they were intended to. The bedroom, for example, they don't use it as a bedroom, they use it as a storage area for the mattresses. When the families are going to sleep, they will drag the mattresses to the living room as that's the space with the most ventilation. The next problem will be insufficient lighting. As you can see, there's not much lighting in the house at all. The toilet, they actually have to put a light through the toilet from the kitchen, and it hangs in both ways, just to light up the whole area. The mom of this unit said that she's unable to cook when it's near the evening because it gets too dark and there's not enough lighting in the area. The next and the last problem would be the exposed wiring, which is very dangerous. All the wiring is unkept, just hanging around all the rooms, and it's quite hazardous to the children and the family. The follow-up with the families, after we did all the projects, we actually went back to the units, and before that, some of us actually kept in contact with the families. We've been messaging each other, they've been sending photos back and forth. And the owner of my unit, the one which I was working with, she mentioned that when her children came back from school, after we've done all the the changes in the unit, they will actually go and take the initiative to use the study spaces themselves without being told to go and study or being yelled at or running around watching television. They actually go straight to the room after they come out from school and start studying. And this has also made an impact on the eldest daughter, which I mentioned earlier, who was going to UPSI in the same year. When the project was ongoing, she was going to take UPSI in the same year, this year. After we completed, we went back, she showed us some results and she actually passed all her subjects and she actually did quite well. The parents were very happy and news of this started spreading through the other units and the families around the area. what we've done. Once we came to the flats, the area was very run down, very poorly maintained. We made some changes, so 10 different units. The problems were generally the same, but there were many different ways that we could use to overcome these problems, many different changes that we could do to the rooms to suit the families and what they needed. So for example, for this one, this group added in tables, chairs, painted the room white, curtains. So the room looks so much better than it was before, because before it was dim, dark, and now it's actually quite nice room. This other space is a shared living space with siblings. So what they did was they created this one study space where all the kids could actually learn and study together and learn from one another. This room was the previous room before the changes was the one I showed earlier in the non-conducive study spaces, the cabinets and all of that. So we changed it to this, where it looks very different. We painted the room lighter, we changed the lights to an LED light which takes up less energy, it's better for the family. The foldable tables, one thing about this room is we made it a dual purpose room. So earlier I said they didn't use their bedrooms as a bedroom. For this room, the tables and chairs on the left, those are foldable tables, so when you pull it down, you create more space. The cabinet at the back, those are made from reused pipes. So we reuse pipes to make a whole cabinet system, and those cabinets and shelvings on the wall and on top of the pipes are reused doors and cabinets. This will help save the costs if any of the families were to try to do something like this, and we also try to keep all the budgets for every unit under 500 ringgit to make it as affordable as possible for the families if they were to try it themselves. Next. Oh, sorry, as I was mentioning before, the other room. The dual purpose is once you put down all the tables, the chairs, you close the curtains and the cabinet, you actually create like a bigger space for the daughter when she's older, when she needs her own room. So this room actually acts as a bedroom and a study space. What's next? We are going to go back to the family for another trip, another follow-up to find out how the kids are doing, And after their exams in March, we want to find out if the children are doing well, how the families are doing, if they're making use of the space. Yeah, as mentioned before, the children in academics. Their interest in studying, this has actually been shown already, as I mentioned before, where the kids will come back, they study on their own, they don't need to be forced to study. So this is really showing. Any improvements we can make, we are also trying to get feedback from the families, but currently they are quite satisfied with what we've done, and they are hoping that the other families which didn't get the same opportunity are hoping that things like these opportunities will be available for them in the future, so that their kids could have a better future than the parents. Roles and contributions. We are hoping, this university is hoping that one day the government or any company or authorities could pick up this project or any other project similar to this to help these communities, the communities of low-income families, because they could be hidden gems in upon gold, because you don't know if they have the ability to be better than us. Maybe there are opportunities within them which they are not given the opportunity to show because of what they lack, because they can't keep up with us. The next step for goals and sustainability. So all these policies, and we're hoping to work together with other authorities, companies, groups to actually further the study or further the projects in Malaysia to help the other families and other PPR flats. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the now you guys wait. I think let's continue straight to the Q&A session. Is it okay? Okay. I think it's quite good. I mean, it's good to guys to targeting on the micro issue, which is a home. Kalau sekarang we call a home sweet home, maybe the next 100 years home sweet avenue home. Yeah, never knows. So I will open the Q&A session to the crowd. You guys have any question to ask to the guys in front here? Yeah, we have a question here.
Oh, Imran from congratulations. Very simple question. Based on the solution that you've put into place, you have different solutions for different homes. Am I right? Okay. So in terms of adoption from say government agencies, where a lot of them like standardization in that sense, what would be your base recommendation? Is there a system or a set or a package sort of idea that you already have that you can sort of mass produce or yeah?
Okay, so as I shown earlier, there were 10 different groups, right? Every different idea was different suited to the families, but the problems are generally the same. The ventilated spaces, the lighting problems, the storage spaces. So we were thinking of making like one model, one prototype, which is like a general base idea, which the families could customize later on to their own needs to fit their children or anything like that. So there will be one base model which covers the ventilation, covers the lighting, covers the spaces, and anything else, the personalization could be up to the families, because what we did earlier was we kept it affordable to a low cost, so they could afford it themselves, or they could use recyclable materials. So those are added on later on for the families. All this was done by students, so I think they could pick up a thing or two too. Like the children, they could learn woodwork, they could learn all these life skills, they could put it to use in this kind of projects as well. And regarding last time we presented this and you mentioned about technology, Wi-Fi and all that, right? Yes, we are progressing towards the future. Learning will change. The need of Wi-Fi will come in, the need of transportation, but all this, the families cannot afford. The students, we cannot pay for them either. So it's up to the companies and the government and anything else to help the people who are in need right now. So they should be the ones taking the initiative to help families.
Okay, thank you. So anybody else? We can see you guys convert the space into like a smart space, right? I mean, it can be a dual function, even though it's in the same space, right?
Yeah, what we're trying to do is we're trying to provide a solution which is quite micro, which will have a bigger impact for the future, which will lead to all of these 100-year cities, because there will be the generations building up the cities, the nation, once we're all gone.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? If not, we're going. You guys have a videos, right? Okay, I think we can show the videos.